Hey, random pop culture news freak here, aka MannyTendoWolverine. You guys in wrestling Ultra Swords this channel. Follow me on social media stuff like all my links, LinkedIn, and all the good stuff. Anyways, on linktree.net. Just in case anything bad happens to this channel. Anyways, like really want to say I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. No long-winded stuff. I could talk about a bunch of long-winded stuff. I'll do it afterwards, but Fortnite, I know this is like 4 days old. I waited until a few certain extra details got loose on there, and I didn't watch any of this stuff before prior to reacting to this video, but I've been on a freaking mega binge watch again. Dragon Ball Super was only 4 years ago when it came out. And I watched a little bit. I know it's a little controversial, like DBZ Kai. This wasn't feeling because it wasn't the version I grew up with, but it is what it is. And yeah, let's begin. Let's get it. Fortnite is going to be a freaking Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is going to be Fortnite. Let's see how cringe this is going to be. Let's do it. Unleash your power. This is the official one. Oh my god, I don't remember about those. Looking kind of crazy, man. Looking kind of crazy. Oh, I really did have a camera. Oh my god, you're kidding me. I guess we're talking about, this is the thing, overall thoughts using from an old man boomer's perspective at this point, because based on my personal opinion, unless you're a big giant like old school Twitch streamer, you hit a gold mine like how that dude Ninja did a couple of years ago, Pokimane, or any of those fools, or any of that, or XQC. I guess they got their start in Fortnite and Twitch too, and all them guys. I'm not throwing shit in their way. They're super respectable people who have a shitload of money, more than I can ever dream of, but it's not the case. I gotta keep it down when the roommates are there. This is literally the ginormous introduction. Absolutely. You guys can leave now if you don't want to hear my long-windedness of an old man. It's almost into damn near his mid-30s. Almost 4.5 months from now. Just insane. My god, I can't believe I'm going to be 34 next year. I'm getting more ancient as times of the months of the years go by. Anyways, yeah, getting to my main point. Where do I even begin with this, huh? I'm not a real fan. It's cool the way they did a Kamehameha wave, but you can see at the end, I'm not an animator. I'm not like a super professional anime advisor, anime expert, or any of that stuff, or anything, the hardcore anime stuff. But the way the movement looked at the end, I wasn't a fan of the Kamehameha wave. That's cool that they got the old school Japanese voice actor version. This is literally a ginormous mega introduction to a lot of Gen Z kids that are playing Fortnite, because not to sound like a man's discriminating. The only way you're playing this shit full time as a working job, unless you're somebody, a big giant grown man in your 20s or 30s playing this shit, unless you're making a shitload of money on Twitch or shitload of sponsorships and advertisements and all the sponsorship glories and advertisements that you're getting, all these big giant billion-dollar deals from like Verizon or Samsung or AT&T or all these other freaking billion-dollar conglomerate corporations, organizations. The only way, in my personal opinion, that's the only way grown men and grown women out there are going to be playing games like that is for Fortnite. Obviously, it's not my demographics. Like I said, millions and billions of times, like since 2018, 2019, Fortnite was a thing. I guess when it first became a thing, I think a year before, in 2017, I don't think not too many people knew about it. I didn't either. I expect I was in my late 20s doing my IRL shit. This when I was still working at both of my hotel casino jobs on the strip too. My god, at that particular point in my life. Not to get too much personal IRL shit, but wow, this is gonna be a mass introduction to a lot of little kids that never even watched. Probably just getting their feet wet, maybe even their pinky toes, getting their feet and their fingers wet. And this sounds extremely way the fuck out of context, but please don't take that out of context. But anyways, that they never watched the original shit, even though way older shit like Dragon Ball, the one before my time that came out in 1986 and 1988, like 3 years before I was even alive. I even looked at a bunch of shitload of old school documentaries and uncut stuff. I just learned literally last week that since I was getting myself more hyped up, I may or may not do a movie review because I know it comes out on Friday, which by the time you guys watching this today, I'm gonna wait till Monday because I've seen a bunch of reactions. Literally the year before the pandemic scandemic, the coof was still going a thing with the virus, and now the other two, I'm gonna call them the big pox, like Captain Spock's, that's happening, and roly poly olies. If any of you guys were 90s, could you remember that show from the old school Disney, Playhouse Disney? I kind of grew up a little bit with that because I was 6, 7, 8 years old at the time. I was a 90s kid too. I used to watch Roly Poly Oly. That's not what it's called, but all those diseases, I gotta be careful with the freaking censorship over here because you know how YouTube algorithm, they Thanos snap every freaking video on channel, strike your channel for you. Oh, they're doing misinformation and all this other fake bullshit and all that. But yeah, and all those other, unfortunately, sicknesses. Let's just put it blunt. That and all these other plagues. In my personal opinion, that's what it's gonna be. It's the end of the world Armageddon shit, which is sad. And it's going back to Dragon Ball Z though. This was a time, my God, I didn't even know Akira Toriyama was even. He had inspirations from the dude Astro Boy, freaking Astro Boy. Something, not to get super personal, private with you guys, but something my old man, my pops, he grew up with the Astro Boy series. It's crazy Akira Toriyama-san. That dude, like, he got a lot of his other things, like Dr. Slump, the one that was kind of like a pre-beta successor before it. I didn't even know it was called Dragon Boy. I looked at a bunch of these other videos. The only one I know I'm subscribed to, which I never knew he was a super hardcore fan of Dragon Ball Z like I was. Even other fools that I talked about over the years, I do Tyron Mans, he grew up with it. And he's older than me. I think he's like 46, 47. So I'm 33. He grew up with that whole thing. Like, holy shit, man. It was around for a long time. I even watched the whole uncut, uncensored thing. My God. So many words were completely censored in the English dub. My God. And they cussed a few times in that one, too. They actually used profanity and vulgarities in Japanese. I didn't know that because I watched the whole series again. Because I did this a couple of years ago in 2015-16. I was doing a whole giant, like, binge watch of Dragon Ball Z. But it was all the English stuff that I grew up because I was feeling nostalgic. I feel nostalgic right now. Because I'm going to be watching Super Android 1 and 2, the Dragon Ball Z superheroes thing. And this is going to be a reintroduction to Generation Z kids that didn't grow up with that because they weren't alive at that time. Or maybe they were alive at that time, they were just way too little to remember. I don't know, in the early, mid-late 2000s, I guess, for them. Because I was already in my, barely my preteens and teen years at that time. When Dragon Ball Z was still ginormous. It made so many. If any of you guys were in like the Western English-speaking countries where you were born and raised in the United States, like I was, or the other places, typically U.S., Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, all those areas. My God, you knew back in the 90s, if you're around my age group, you know that was one of the most biggest, cataclysmic, absolutely beyond epic, one of the biggest pioneer predecessors at the time when Dragon Ball Z was coming to the United States. I remember every time after I came back, at the time I was in third and fourth grade at the time, watching the first two series, which was the Frieza series and the Vegeta series and Nappa Vegeta saga. And after that was the Cell series. Like, every time, third and fourth grade, after I was done finished my homework, once in a while, like, when it was summer camp, like, I came back from my friends' like places and all that stuff. I'm not gonna say specific locations, I don't even know they exist anymore. But every time, every freaking day, I was waiting for that tsunami block. This is before internet was real, what the internet is nowadays. You can't get away from spoilers anyway, thanks to fucking Twitter and Instagram. But my God, I could talk for hours on things. But long story short, I used to love going on tsunami block, watching my own little old not flat TV, it was an old block TV, one of those old ones. Maybe before these ones were a thing. And this one right here. Oh man, I used to cry so many times, and tears of joy would fluctuate in my body so much. I would just get so, not in an anger way, but a tears of joy, happiness, positive vibes every time I saw that. Especially Vegeta. Every time I was gonna like, oh man, it was fight Kakarot, or he was gonna fight Cell or Majin Buu, the androids, you know. Henceforth, you can see it in the background there. I got the Vegeta cup. It was some good times, man. That's all I gotta say. It's all good here for now. I'm out of here. I might do a second one. There's another one called Senor Bello. If you guys Pelon. He's back again. I didn't even know he was back, but wild animations. So guys, if you're not here, links to description box down below. Links to the second video I didn't get to show you. This DragonBall Z Fortnite, I don't know, DLC thing coming out. And then that's it. I like the Shenron thing. That was a peace out, ladies and gentlemen, bros. Anyways, fingers talking more. I'll see you when I see you guys today. Have a good night, wherever in the universe out there. Stay tuned for future content. Channel later video game industry, take my news or the drama news, and once or twice out of the month, the reaction video does. Take it easy. Peace out and soccer out. Ladies and bye. See you on the flip side. Take care. Stay safe, and I'm gone. Goodbye.